WRT Boxing Show, folks. I'm your host, Mr.A, back with another post-fight recap. This is on the last night, Golden Boy Promotions, ESPN. And first off, thanks for your support. Thumbs up, subscribe if you have not. And I gotta say, this ended a pretty good streak for me in season 2. I was getting a lot of predictions right. But this one, I got this card wrong, both fights. I picked Valerio to outbox Robles Jr. and I picked Robert Manzanarez to upset Gesta. And that fight was back and forth. That was a strange one to call. So that was, that was weird. Did you like more action? Did you like more work, or did you like this couple hard punches that Gesta landed? We'll get into that one. So right now we're gonna do a fight recap of the Edgar Valerio getting knocked out in the 9th round by Manny Robles Jr. becoming the NABF lightweight champion. Now this fight, like I said, I picked Edgar to out jab him and move around the ring and land a couple power shots in between. Because in the fight, you saw Manny definitely respected his power. He got rocked and stunned a couple times by Edgar's punches, but for some reason in this fight, Edgar became just strictly one-shot kill. He was trying to really hurt Manny. He was loading up on all his shots, and they were so and what's the word? Choreographed. You could see him coming a mile away, and Manny was just able to punch between them, counter over him. The jab was super hard and slow. He wasn't pumping the jab up like his previous fights. I picked because of that jab. His previous fights, he was a jabbing machine, pumping. Even his corner's like, you need to throw more. Stop trying to hit so hard. Just throw punches and hit them everywhere. Edgar was throwing these hard hooks, and they're so slow he'll miss, boom, get countered. Whatever hook he threw, he got countered over it. And surprisingly, because in the fight, in the prediction, I said I'm picking Valerio to win it by points on decision. If Manny wins, it's going to be because of a knockout, because Valerio gets hit with too many hooks. Now, he was getting countered by hooks, but surprisingly, what dropped him all 3 times, dropped him in the 3rd, dropped him in the 9th, and then finished him off in the 9th was like a flurry, but the 2 knockdowns were just straight right hands. It's just the fact that because Valerio was opening up, telegraph, that's the word I was looking for, telegraphing his hook so much that he just left all the space, like, boop, straight right hand. And surprisingly, Valerio just could not take that punch at all. Now, Joel Diaz, the commentator, said to him in the fighters' meeting, Valerio looked drained and weak. So maybe that's another reason why he just couldn't take those straight right hands. They were clean shots. They didn't look like anything hard that you think would drop him. But when you're dehydrated and you're making up weight, the easiest shots to get you, your body is just not as strong as it usually is. But for the fight itself, Manny, like I said, he tried to. There are some points in the fight where, he dropped him at round like a 145 in the 3rd round with a straight right. Valerio got up, tried to press the action, tried to come with some more slow-ass telegraphing hooks. He was getting countered over it with a straight right. It got even to one point, like in the 5th and 6th round, Manny started putting pressure on, trying to walk him down, but eventually he felt some more power, started using the movement again, and he was much better at using his movement because Valerio couldn't set his feet, and he did here. He has this like little giveaway hitch here, go to throw some telegraph hook, and Manny just punch him right down the middle. And then, like I said, he same thing, got him with a straight right again, telegraphing. In the 9th round, he got up and just unloaded a flurry on him, and the referee stopped it. Like I said, the basics of the fight was Manny used the ring, he used movement. Valerio he was going for one power punch kills too many times, telegraphing his shots, and Manny was able to counter him offensively, defensively, and punch in between his shots. And Manny stopped him, became the North American Boxing Federation lightweight champion. Now we move on to the main event. Merceto Gesta taking on Robert Manzanarez out of Mexico. This fight was really tough. I had the fight a draw. And there's easily the fight ended with Gesta winning a majority decision. It was 96-95 for Robert, a 95-95 draw, and then a 96-95 for Gesta. And I believe it was like 296-95 for Gesta, and a 95-96 for Robert. Now, like I said, did you like the more work? If you like more point punches and movement and controlling the ring and doing all that type of stuff, then you probably liked you gave the fight to Robert. If you like the few round head snapping shots, then you probably like Gesta and you gave the fight to him. But that was the gist of this fight. Like I said, I gave rounds 1, 2, 6, 7, and 10 to Robert. 3, 4, 5, 8, and 9 to Gesta. And the whole fight, Robert controlled distance, stayed with the jab, a few body shots. Robert had a lot of nice body shots, and you could have gave him the fight doing some of his body shots, Like I said, there's at least 3 rounds in here that are sweet swing rounds, just almost any round of the fight actually could be a swing round. Like I said, it's that type of fight. So in the rounds I gave Robert, it's not like he dominated those rounds. In the rounds that I gave Gesta, it's not like he dominated those rounds. It's just a little bit of an edge to me for each fight. Like I said, Robert kept the fight on the outside with his 1-2s, scored a little body shots here and there. And Gesta, his rounds were won with a little bit of pressure and some punch-telling, domination punches. Like I said, but even on some of those punches, when that Gesta won, Robert did good work. So it's like, what did you want? The work from Robert or the harder hitter rounds that could have stole the round? No one really damaged anyone. Tough fight to score. Like I said, I had it 95-95. Overall, if I was to choose who do I think won the fight, I probably would slide with Robert. I think there's a lot of rounds. That body work was pretty good, but I still give it to Gesta because of those moments where he did steal around with some telling shots. There were some rounds where he had some telling shots, but I still gave it to Robert because the work was so much more than his 2 telling shots. Then there was some rounds when Robert didn't have much work and those telling shots was enough. There's like just I think around round 8, Robert didn't do. It was round 7. Robert worked a lot of points, and Gesta landed 2 big shots. I gave that round to Robert. Then round 8, Robert didn't do much work for like the first minute and 20 seconds. And Gesta was kind of controlling the pace, controlling the tempo, making Robert move around the ring, but no action was being thrown. So even though Gesta was missing a lot, and then he ended up landing a couple shots, that first minute and the 20 seconds that Robert didn't do nothing, I gave that minute to Gesta for making the fight, controlling the fight. So the points that Robert did score up for the 2 minutes of that round wasn't enough to overshadow punches that Gesta landed in those 2 minutes and that first garbage minute that he won. So it's a weird fight. But again, Gesta kept his little career away from gatekeeper status. Robert, like I said, he's 23 years old. Golden Boy is in the need. Actually, Golden Boy is in the need of a lot of stuff, because Gesta, Golden Boy is desperately trying to reach into that Asian market. Specifically, they love to have a Filipino market. They got Gesta. They're really trying to bring on I forgot his first name, but Duno. They're really trying to put him on. So Golden Boy needs and wants a Filipino market. So they got Gesta and Dono. So we see where that goes. But this is the RT Boxing Show. I'm your host, Mr. A. Tough fights to score besides a knockout. I mean, the first fight was easy to score. That was a knockout. This one was a tough fight. But overall, as a grade for this card, the crowd seemed into both these fights. The referee did a pretty decent job in both those fights. The fighters themselves, the crowd participation, I give a B. The referee, I give a B. In the first fight, Valerio, he looked like shit. Manny looked pretty decent. So the commentary was on point. I give the commentary A. I thought Joel Diaz was doing pretty good. He carried that commentary team. He was talking good views from a trainer and boxing stuff. He was really letting on the fighters. So I like the commentary last night. I give it an A. So I'll give the first fight probably like a. Valerio looked like shit. He really did. Manny, you saw make some nice adjustments. I give that fight a B. I give it was a B minus. I'll give it a B. In the second fight, it was tough. It was really tough, back and forth. No one really separated themselves. I give that one a B as well. So overall, even though the class of fighters ain't B-level fighters, the fights themselves were. I give that card a B. The RT Boxing Show. I'm your host, Mr. A. Quick recap. Manny Robles Jr. knocks out Valerio in the 9th round, becomes the NABF champion. Gesta outduels Robert Manzanarez with a mid-decision to become victorious. Thank you very much.